name from the original cottage that was rented and was named El Hogar de Amor y Esperanza, the home of love and hope. 5 volunteers saw abandoned boys living on the street. They rented this cottage. They provided a home for 5 homeless boys to live. They could have food, they could clean themselves, they had a place to study. They started from that. The boys would go to public school, but they at least had a place where they could live. That was in '79. They realized in 1984, as it was growing, that the public schools got the kids through 6th grade, but they didn't have any work skills. So with the help of the United Thank Offering, which we contribute to, they formed the St. Mary's Technical Institute. At the time, that continued their education through the 9th grade, and it taught them a trade. Either learned carpentry or electrical wiring or welding, metalwork. The first 2 buildings of the Technical Institute, the boys, the staff, the students actually built under supervision. Good practice, huh? The El Hogar eventually started its own school in 1990. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. It now has 4 facilities: the elementary school, which takes its name from the original, El Hogar de Amor y Esperanza, the technical school, St. Mary's Technical Institute, an agriculture school, and a residence for high school girls, some of whom also attend the Technical Institute and get transported there every day. While we were there, what our team was my family, Jan, me, Lauren, Stephen, Jason Glasgow, and Sandy Charlton, and we teamed up with a group from North Carolina. What we did is, on Sunday we went to the church at a district gathering of youth, heard a very wonderful sermon. I really don't know what it said because it was in Spanish, but it was wonderful, I'm pretty sure. We then went to the girls' residence to eat lunch with them and interact with them and teach them crafts, play games, play soccer. I got to watch my daughter teach them how to do fold duct tape into roses. It's pretty amazing. The girls loved it. I'm glad I spent all that money sending her to college so she could learn things like that. We interacted with the boys at the technical school when they weren't in class. We would play soccer. We would teach them how to throw an American football, and there's some budding quarterbacks there, I can tell you, some strong arms. We did a service project of painting one of the buildings. We observed them as they were learning their trade, their woodworking, their welding. We made 3 home visits to see the environment that they came from. 2 of the homes actually did have electricity. I wasn't real clear on whether they had legal electricity or bootleg where they had just attached to the wire, but they had electricity. But there were as many as 8 people in one bedroom, 4 beds and sharing beds, several generations. One of the homes did not have electricity. There was 2 rooms. There were 4 people living there. The mother said that she didn't like the rainy season because when the rainy season, the water would come into the house. But she was happy to have a house. In the evening, we would be interacting with the kids, playing soccer, playing ping pong, playing foosball, again, teaching art lessons. One of the leaders of the school said this was the most important thing that we did because their kids were in an institutional environment. They were cared for, but they didn't get interaction much from adults. And so this was he thought one of the most important things that we did. And it was fun. And I hope and I think that we made a difference in their lives doing this. Well, what I really want to do is, talk to you about the staff. What they do is amazing. I'm going to start with Enrique. Enrique worked in telecommunications while he was finishing his degree in electrical engineering. He's bilingual. He was in the process of finding a job in electrical engineering. He was working with his father making sausage. And he was delivering sausage to the Technical Institute when he found out they needed somebody to teach computer applications. So that became his job. He took on that, and he stays in the evenings to help the students study, helps them with their English because they were trying to teach them some English. Cares very deeply for their students. He actually took us on 2 of the home visits and introduced us to the family. Next is Juan Jose, or as everybody called him, Jota Jota, which is JJ in Spanish. He was their soccer coach and physical education coach and kind of a do-it-all there at the school. He spent evenings with the boys, again, helping them study. They had just won a diocesan-wide soccer tournament for the entire diocese of Honduras, and also the girls had won a volleyball student under his teaching. In addition to that, he actually instructs girls who aspire to become FIFA-certified soccer referees, or football referees as they call it. He's not certified himself, but he can teach them all that they need to know to then go and be certified to teach or to be FIFA-certified referees. Claudia de Castro was the executive director of the elementary school. Her mother and her father separated when she was young. They actually separated on Christmas Day, if you can imagine. She blamed herself and had an emptiness that she tried to fill by being the best at whatever she was doing. So she graduated at the top of her class. She went to university. She was working and moving up in the banking industry when she found out about El Hogar wanting to form the school, the elementary school. So in 1989, she joined and became the director of the elementary school, which opened up a year later. She's been there ever since. And raised her own children, so she's not done what her parents did. Finally, I want to talk about Lazaro Juarez. Lazaro was 6 when his family separated because his father was an alcoholic. Lazaro chose to stay with his father because somebody had to protect him while he was passed out drunk. Talk about your role reversal. He was brought into another school. This was actually before El Hogar started, but was able to complete his school and go to university. He's raised his own children, one of whom is a lawyer in Madrid, one of whom is a dentist in Vancouver. He has 2 others still working on their degrees. He was El Hogar's first employee. He has now worked his way up to where he is the director of the Technical Institute and has devoted his life to helping the impoverished children. I get choked up talking about these staff. What these people do represents the best in all of us, and every day they make a difference. They embody what Jesus taught, which is love one another. And I just thank God for them and what they do and what I was able to see them do. Thank you.
Amen. Now let us rise as you are able and facing the cross. We will affirm our faith in the words of our ancient Nicene Creed found on page 358. We believe in one God.